Here to introduce Doug is his longtime friend, David Jones. David is one of the leading venture capitalists in mid-America and well-respected voice in healthcare business and innovation. He founded Chrysalis in June of 1993. At Chrysalis, David has worked over the years with some of the most exciting growth companies in the Midwest and South. In addition, David has served with the board of directors of Humana, Inc. since 1993. David is active in civic and charitable organizations all over Kentucky, both national and local levels. He is a member of the Board of Business Leaders for Education and the Invitation-Only Healthcare Executive Network, which collectively examines the strategies necessary to create and sustain a world-class healthcare delivery system. In addition, David is the director of the Humana Foundation Incorporated and is active on the Grants Committee of a private foundation. Please welcome David to the microphone.
Thank you, and it is my great honor and pleasure to get to introduce Doug Cobb to you. I have known Doug since we were both 2 years old, and there is literally no limit to the stories I could tell about him. But I have also received the 1-minute injunction. So I'm going to try to just capture 3 qualities of Doug that, to me, make him stand out as a great entrepreneur. The first is Doug is incredibly decisive. And I'll just tell one little story about him. We went way back, but one night we were both in our early 20s. We had a crummy dinner in New York City. He was at that point pursuing a master's in accounting, and it was about 100 degrees outside, and he was living in an NYU dorm, and he hated it. And the main thing I remember about the dinner was, A, he hated it, and B, he told me that he had just met somebody special. And that special person was his now wife, Gina, and he proposed to her, my understanding is 8 weeks after meeting her. He also dropped the accounting work that he hated to do something completely nuts, which was jump into this world of personal computers then emerging and write a book about computer software about which he knew, I promise you, absolutely nothing. And it became a great bestseller, Using 1, 2, 3 it was called, and took him into the publishing business and the Cobb Group, and really the rest is a great history. So Doug is decisive. Doug is also a nerd. In the olden days, we would have said Doug rolls up his sleeves and gets his hands dirty. But, the qualities that one saw early, he loved airplanes, he loved to fly. When he was 14 and 15, he hung around at Bowman Field and washed airplanes with a hose for, I don't know what the minimum wage was then, but it was a way to learn about flying. And that same quality came out when he sat down at the whiteboard with Mike Davis and Young Win 10 years before anybody had ever heard of software as a service, to define their recurring revenue model by taking the business plan completely apart and putting it back together. The last is Doug is a great communicator. And I'm not going to go on about that, but the companies that Doug has advised and the people who he has mentioned, starting with the Cobb Group, which has many offspring in Louisville's publishing landscape, going on to Apris, Genscape, Summit Energy, and a host of great companies right now. They are testament to a lot of great things, but one is his ability to focus and communicate. And those are 3 attributes of great entrepreneurs that I believe he embodies. So Doug, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, David. Some of that was true. What a great honor this is. Thank you so much for honoring me with this. To join folks, Ron and Kent and Governor Brown and Lee Todd, so many people that I've known and admired and worked with over the years. That's a great honor for me. Thank you for that. Brian, thanks to you and the team at Awesome. This is great what you're doing. You're singing my song, man. I sang it a little bit before you came along, but keep singing it. It's so important for the state of Kentucky. As I was thinking about my entrepreneurial journey and what I might say here in the couple minutes I have, the thing that came to mind was just the great friendships and relationships that I've been privileged to have through this journey. Really sort of three partnerships that have defined my business life. You met one of them, David. He's actually the middle one of the three in the founding of Chrysalis, which he continues to run, and many really great companies that came out, a few really bad ones too, but many really great companies that came out of that. The first one was my dear friend Tom Cottingham, who was the co-founder with me of the Cobb Group, invented our marketing model, and we wouldn't have had a company without Tom. He went on to do Narrowcast and Tech Republic here in town, and continues to be a great entrepreneur here, a dear friend and a great guy. And then the third is a guy named Mike Davis, who will be standing here one day getting this award, I'm sure, because Mike is the only person I've ever heard of who was this founder of a company, hired a guy, that was me, to come in and be his CEO, and then when the guy got tired and decided to retire, took the CEO reins back over and is now very successfully running Apparis and turning it into an enormous, successful company. Rocky got it right when he said, I got gaps, you got gaps, we fill each other's gaps. I got plenty of gaps, but these three guys that I've mentioned along the way really helped me fill my gaps, and it's really true. Two is way better than one. So the advice I would offer to you aspiring entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs is find someone good who fills your gaps and partner with that person to build your company. By the way, that's also true in life and in marriage. And as David mentioned, my wife Gina's here tonight, and she fills a lot of my gaps, and I think I do the same for her, so thank you for being here tonight, sweetheart. The last thing I'd want to say is just about the importance of this entrepreneurial endeavor. I am absolutely convinced that entrepreneurship is the key to great prosperity in the state of Kentucky. We are only a couple of great companies away from prosperity beyond our imagination. What we have to do is keep promoting it and keep rewarding it and have the public policies that are needed to make it possible here in the state. We may have some disadvantages, but I always tell the story of how Microsoft came to be in Seattle. Seattle was a town that was known for building airplanes and harvesting lumber. Nobody had ever thought about starting a high-tech company there, but a kid named Bill Gates happened to be born there and grow up there and decided when he started his company that he would start it there, and the rest is history. Who knows who's about to do that great thing here in Kentucky, and I hope I live long enough to see whoever that is standing here getting this award one day. Thank you very much for this honor. Thank you very much.